Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, I'm going to review Festival Stitch from the Lilo and Stitch series. His ability description is clears groups of Tsums in one go, and to elaborate on this a little bit more, his ability actually clears Tsums in several places first and then in the center area. The gameplay that you're currently watching right now is a skill level 1 game demonstration play with the 5-4 on. All of these gameplays that you're going to see are play with the 5-4 on, and that's the only boost that I'll be using. And if you want to activate Festival Stitch's ability, you're going to need to clear anywhere between 17 to 22 copies of him off the screen. And this number is going to depend on which skill level you have Festival Stitch at. The higher the skill level, the lower the amount of Tsums that you'll need to clear to activate the ability. The minimum score is 140 with a maximum score of 924. From a scoring perspective, this isn't necessarily going to be a Tsum that you'll be using to get a high score. And if you want to get Festival Stitch to skill level 6, you're going to need to get a total of 32 copies of him from the premium box. Or you can use skill tickets as well, but not one of those Tsums where I would recommend you to use your skill tickets on. So let's take a look at the skill chart. Every single time you level up Festival Stitch, two things will change. First is the amount of Tsums that's needed to activate his ability, and then second is the skill range. Now this skill range is only in reference to the last burst, the last center burst, which I'll get into a little bit later. But essentially at skill level 1, you're going to need a total of 22 Tsums to activate the ability, and the skill range is going to be extra small. But once you get him to skill level 6, the skill range is going to be extra large, and you're only going to need a total of 17 copies of him to activate the ability. And before I go any further, if you guys are enjoying this type of content where I review Tsums, do monthly leaks, go over the selection box and pickup capsules, please consider subscribing to this channel. Your subscription is greatly appreciated. And if you guys are looking for a community of other Tsum Tsum players where you can chat about the game or ask for help, consider scanning this QR code on the screen and join the Discord server. Alright, so back to Festival Stitch. I'm going to cover all 6 of the skill levels, starting with skill level 1, 2, and 3. Starting with skill level 1, the skill range is going to be extra small, and you're going to need a total of 22 copies of Festival Stitch to activate the ability. That drops down to 21 at skill level 2 with the skill range of small, and then skill level 3, 20 Tsums to activate the ability, but the skill range will be medium. So every single time you level up Festival Stitch, both of these categories will improve. So it decreases by 1 the amount of Tsums that you'll need to clear to activate the ability, and the skill range is going to increase by a small portion of the size. And I'm going to show you the skill range a little bit later, but the first thing I want to cover is the strategy. And with Festival Stitch, the strategy is actually pretty simple. All you really need to do is just use the overcharge effect, and if you're not too familiar with the overcharge effect, essentially what you want to do is you want to start pressing the ability button before the skill is fully charged. And when you do this, sometimes additional Tsums will go into the next charge up. That way it costs less to activate the ability. So as an example, at skill level 1, you're going to need to clear a total of 22 Festival Stitch off the screen to activate the ability. But if you use the overcharge effect like I just did there at skill level 1, you'll see that I already had the bar a little bit charged up before I cleared any Tsums off the screen. So instead of 22, you might only need 19 or even 15 depending on how effective your overcharge was. So that's a really effective way of using the overcharge effect. And it works for Festival Stitch because the screen doesn't freeze during the ability time, so it's a very effective ability that you could use for Festival Stitch. The next thing I want to show you guys is a side-by-side comparison of the abilities activated at the same time. So I'm going to slow this down a little bit slower than usual because I want to talk you through exactly what's happening. So between all 3 of the skill level, this animation is going to be the same. Festival Stitch will start clearing on the top left, and then bottom right, and then finally on the bottom left. And the skill range for all 3 of these little sections are going to remain consistent between skill level 1 and skill level 6. That's not going to change. The only difference here between all 6 of the skill level is this center burst at the very end. You could call this the last and final 4th clear at the middle, and this is going to be the skill range that matters between all 6 of the skill level. At skill level 1, I was able to get a chain of 12, skill level 2 I got a chain of 16, and skill level 3 I got a chain of 22. And again, this is going to be the only thing that's going to matter between all 6 of the skill level. The first 3 clears on the top left, bottom right, and bottom left are always going to be the same. Moving on to skill level 4, 5, and 6. So at these higher skill level, the skill range is going to increase to large, and then extra large, and then finally at skill level 6, extra large. And the amount of Tsums will drop from 19 to 18, and then at skill level 6 to 17. So the idea here is that you'll be able to activate a lot more abilities at skill level 6 compared to skill level 1. And because at skill level 6 the skill range is extra large, it should be able to clear a lot more Festival Stitch off the screen during the ability time. So theoretically, you should be able to activate a lot more abilities at skill level 6 compared to skill level 1. And as for the strategy, it's going to remain the same between all 6 of the skill level. You want to leverage that overcharge effect, and really that's the only thing you need to know about using Festival Stitch. There's only really one strategy and it's very simple, so very good for beginners. Now the next thing I want to show you guys is the side-by-side comparison for these higher skill levels. The animation will remain the same between all 6 of the skill level, and the 3 areas that I mentioned earlier are also going to remain the same. Festival Stitch will always go to the top left, bottom right, and then bottom left. And you can't really control this area here or the 3 areas that he clears. I've noticed that the numbers are going to fluctuate, and it doesn't matter what skill level you have him at this area. The only thing that really matters is the last burst, which is that center area, and this is going to be the skill range for skill level 4, 5, and 6. You'll notice that at skill level 6 it's a really big area, and generally speaking you want to make sure you don't have any magic bubbles on the screen because they do get in the way of making a long chain. At skill level 4 I ended up with a chain of 24, skill level 5 I got a chain of 25, and at skill level 6 I got a chain of 29. So nothing super exciting here, but because Festival Stitch does clear in 3 different areas as well on top of this last burst, it could be a good Tsum to get a high combo. But in terms of score and in terms of coins, nothing too amazing. I think generally speaking, the second premium box is usually the ones with more lackluster Tsums that aren't as exciting as the first premium box. But let me know what you guys think about that. That's just one of the trends that I'm starting to notice in the last year. Overall, Festival Stitch is not a Tsum you want to spend a lot of coins on or using your skill tickets on. He's not going to be a great coin earner and really not that great for score either. So if you don't have a lot of resources saved up, I would recommend you to skip on Festival Stitch. But if you're a collector, then at least get 1 copy of Festival Stitch and then you can decide later if you want to level him up or not. I think that Festival Stitch is a really easy Tsum to use, with the exception that you need to know how to use the overcharge. But if you know how to use the overcharge, then it's simple enough. Just tap the button before you activate the ability, and that's the only strategy you need to implement for Festival Stitch. But let's take a look at the results for all 6 of these gameplays. At skill level 1, I ended up with 849 coins with 3.4 million points, so very low and really not that exciting. It's not until skill level 5 where you could start considering using the 5-4 and coin boost. At skill level 5, I ended up with 11.8 million points with 3,312 coins. And at skill level 6, which is the max you could go, it wasn't a significant improvement. I ended up with 3,517 coins and 13.1 million points. So as you can see, Festival Stitch is not going to be a Tsum that's really great for coins and not that great for score either. And that's why I mentioned earlier to not use your skill tickets and spend your coins to try to max out Festival Stitch unless you have a lot to spare. So that's my review of Festival Stitch. I hope that you guys found this video helpful or at least entertaining. And if you would like to see more Tsum Tsum content just like this, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching.